Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Built for the Stage podcast. This is Joe Roscoe, founder and host of Built for the Stage, Broadway's #1 fitness platform with clients in over 20 Broadway shows, the West End, Australia, Tokyo Disney, collegiate theaters across the country. We are your one-stop shop for all things theater and fitness. If you want to try out 2 weeks of a free trial with me, go to builtforthestage.com and we'll be on our way to working together on an interactive fitness app, builtforthestage.com. All right, special guest as always, 2 of them today. We love it. Double trouble. I was on the gram and all of a sudden I saw friends of mine, Tommy Brecco and Sarah Meal. They were guests on this show called The Broadway Sandwich. And the highlight of the episodes coming up was like, very well done. Not your like everyday Broadway media thing, but like, I don't know, put this on local cable or something national. Like this was top of the line. So I was super excited. I immediately slid into the DMs and reached out to the host and creator. So I'm super excited for you to meet our 2 guests that's behind the camera, that's on the camera. Please welcome Garen Scribner and Rebecca Soldinger. Hello, hello.
Hey, Joe.
Welcome. The crowd goes wild. Standing O. All right. So where are we calling in from? Are we in 2 different locations? I kind of already asked, but I just want to share again with the audience because one of the stories is an amazing one. So let's start with you, Rebecca. Where are you right now?
So I am in a hotel in Indianapolis, Indiana, because my parents own a Rice Krispie treat company called The Crispery, and it's the Sweets and Snacks Expo. So I'm here helping out and eating candy.
Let's go. Well, I'm honored that you pulled yourself away from the Sweets and Snacks Expo because I don't know if I would have been able to do it. I would have been camped out just at everyone's tables snacking away. So, yeah. And Garen, where are we in New York? Where are we?
I am in Los Angeles, California, Santa Monica, where I live, and so happy to be here. And in fact, before we get off the Rice Krispie treat topic, all of our guests on Broadway Sandwich each get their own crispery cake with a Broadway Sandwich logo after every episode. So just had to mention it.
Perfect. Oh, yeah. Okay, I love that. Did you know? I love it. Okay, let's rewind to let's get to like how you 2 link up and join forces. I don't want to speak for you, Rebecca. I think you were in the inception of this. Garen, do you come along like a little bit later?
No, it was the 2 of us totally together.
Let's go. Look at you 2 founding
Garen and I went to high school
fathers and
together.
mothers. What?
Yeah. We met at Maryland Youth Ballet. Then we left there and went to North Carolina School of the Arts together for high school. So we go way back, like one of my oldest friends.
This is awesome.
Yeah. So Broadway Sandwich started as an idea, kind of. Garen was in An American in Paris, starring on Broadway, like so cool, so amazing. And he took me to his dressing room in the Palace Theater, and it was Judy Garland's dressing room, and I was sitting in there, and I was just like dying. I was like, this is the coolest thing that has ever happened. Like I was just a total fan, like being backstage. And, while he was doing that and like hanging out with Garen and seeing him live the real life of a performer and like be stressed out. And it's not like we put these performers on this pedestal, but like it's real life and it's still a job and it's a dream job, but it's a job and it's work and it's hard. And then we were like sitting in the park one day and I was like, oh, we're just sitting having lunch in the park. And then he's like, okay, I have to go do my show. And it's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're like a real like these Broadway stars are real people.
Yeah.
And that was really my first time kind of seeing both sides of that. And it was so interesting. Plus, I kept asking Garen where to eat in the theater district before and after shows. And like, where does he eat in between shows? And all of those things together, we were like, we should do something with this. Like, I'm a TV producer, you're a performer. Like, there's got to be somewhere that we can do something. And Broadway Sandwich was born.
So you were with Rachel Ray at the time?
Yeah,
or where
yeah.
were you?
So I was a producer at Rachel Ray. I was actually there for 17 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was this kind of like your leap into doing your own individual thing with Garen?
Yeah. So we luckily, working in daytime talk, you have summers off. You have like a little hiatus period. And we were like, this is perfect. Like, gives me time to get to like do this passion project, and it worked.
Got it. And Garen, were you buying it from the jump? Where you're like, oh, this is a great idea, let's do it? Or did you? Yeah, no arm twisting. You were
No,
game.
not
You're
at
ready.
all. Not at all. I'm always, best idea wins. And we had always kind of wanted to do something together. We just didn't know what. So at that lunch table, I think, we were like, we could call it Broadway Sandwich. It was
your idea.
Yeah. So we really both brought a lot to the table. Me with, just my performing experience and also my access. My brother, Garen Scribner, is also in the business. He's a stage manager. He's the production stage manager on Maybe Happy Ending right now. Nominated for 10 Tony Awards, by the way. No
loved it. I was there. I loved it.
Isn't it great? Show. Yeah, it's fabulous.
Yeah.
And so he's done 20 Broadway shows. So while American in Paris was my first Broadway show, he had a wealth of experience and relationships that we could kind of count on to get us into the theater or into that PR office, or to figure out how we were going to book the guests and get into the theaters and all those things. And we had, after that lunch, we kind of thought about the concept, and we got a meeting at PBS at WNET and pitched the idea. And they were like, this sounds really cute. Can you bring us a pilot? And then we just kind of put our resources together, got a bunch of favors from friends, and created a pilot out of nowhere with Itai Benson was the our first episode.
Yeah. And it was crazy. We we were kind of making it up as we went, and we went to a health food store. We went for a run in Central Park. It
was getting dark. It was wild. And then we edited it together, brought it to the network, and they ordered an 8-episode season, including the pilot. So yeah,
that's amazing. Rebecca, tell us some more about the pilot, getting the favors and just biting and scratching your way to making this thing happen.
Well, so Garen and Itai had been on tour together, so he was all in right away. Garen asked him if he would do it, and he said yes. So that was great. So I reached out to the publicists for the band's visit, and I was like, Itai wants to do this. But we don't know if anything, we need this sort of access, and we don't know if anything will come of it. We are really hopeful. But I can't promise anything. And they were so lovely and allowed us to come, shoot backstage. And I mean, this was 2018, I think. And so pre-COVID, so we didn't have those kind of restrictions. And we shot it, and it worked. It just worked.
and this is our 4th season, Joe. So we just released our 4th season. We've done 32 episodes of broadcast and streaming television with this series alone. So we're really proud of it.
Yeah, amazing. It's really fun.
Where can people easily find it? Just a YouTube search. We're going to put the link in our description here, but just so it's on recording, if anyone just wants to get to it quickly, what's the best way?
You know what? Go to Broadway Sandwich on Instagram and click the link in the bio. But it is on the All Arts YouTube channel. It is also on All Arts and PBS.
It's free across the country.
Yeah, streaming on their apps, on their websites, everywhere.
Roku, Apple TV, everywhere.
Is All Arts some type of subsidy of PBS?
It's part of the New York Public Broadcasting. So New York's Public Broadcasting, New York's arm of PBS is WNET, and All Arts is one of their networks.
Okay, very nice, very nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, so go to Broadway Sandwich's Instagram, first hit follow, and then go to the link in the bio.
Yeah,
and make sure you check that out. Okay, tell me some because I can imagine some things that you haven't prepared happen when going to these public places to do the interviews, whether it's at a lunch spot or wherever it is. Any times where you're like, oh, this is madness. Yeah. What's going on?
Well, so every episode has, we meet at the stage door right after the matinee. We go have a meal with the guest. And then we do some sort of activity, whether it's a voice lesson or a dance class or a PT appointment. We went rock climbing with one person. We've done crazy stuff, and it's really fun. But one of my favorite things is usually when we have like a Broadway run-in. Like it's a small community and our whole show is shot in the theater district. So we will be shooting with someone and just run into someone else. Like we were shooting with Rob McClure and we ran into Rebecca Eichenberger, who had been on our show. Like we had shot with her the day before. Like we've had a lot of those, which is really fun. We've had moments, you know, that we don't prep for, like in the episode with John Gallagher Jr. that just came out. He said, I've never talked about this before, but they wanted me to audition for Bach in Wicked. And I was like, I can't do this. And I like to hear someone say, I've never said this before publicly is like, as a producer, alarm bells are going off. It's the most exciting thing I can hear.
Yes. Yeah. This season coming up, Garen, are there any highlights that you'd want to share with our audience of like, hey, these are a couple of things you don't want to miss?
For sure. So Sarah Meal, just because she's your buddy, we adore Sarah Meal. She really made a meal of her episode. I'll tell you that. She teaches a dance class at Broadway Dance Center, and I take the dance class full out. I mean, I went for it, and that was incredibly fun. I can still do a triple pirouette, come to find out.
Let's go, Garen.
That was great. Actors are athletes, right? I'm on the right place.
Say it again.
Yeah.
You brought up Itai earlier. Itai was one like a OG Built for the Stage client. He's amazing.
Oh yeah, and we go running in his episode. So watch the pilot of our show. You'll see Itai and I on a run in Central Park. It was pretty wild because it was getting dark, and I think I was in like boots at the time, trying to keep up with him.
Anyways, another triple pirouette in Sarah Meal's class.
Triple pirouette, and with Tommy Bracco, we go claw gaming downtown because we were at Titanic, which is the show that Tommy was in at the time. And so we're downtown, which is really fun because most of the time we're uptown in the theater district. And so we got to explore an entirely different neighborhood, which was great.
Nice. Tommy didn't have you have any like pasta and meatballs or anything?
There was no marinara, but on the episode technically, but we did go for the pizza and pasta claw toys. Yeah. So I won't tell you who won. You're gonna have to watch to find out.
In the episode that's airing the week that this is coming out, with Gavin Gregory from A Wonderful World, we had like a little 2-person Mardi Gras parade on the street. We had him play the trumpet.
What? Okay. Okay. So Rebecca, how do you go about choosing your guests for like each season? How do you go through that selection process?
It really varies. Like sometimes someone will be in a show that Garen has a great relationship with, and that's always really fun for us because you can just see that chemistry on camera. So like with Sarah Meal, as soon as we were like, this season's a go, and we knew Sarah was in a show, Garen was like, we have to book Sarah. So sometimes it's easy. It's like that. And then sometimes, you know, we just reach out to the publicist of the show and I'm like, who in your cast is really fun, really energetic, a great personality? You know, sometimes we go to a show and we say, hey, we really like this person. Like we are super interested in this person. Sometimes it's because I'm a big fan of them personally.
John Gallagher Jr., for example, and Swept Away. You know, that's not generally a guest that we would have on our show. You know, a Tony Award winner. We're, you know, essentially a public media show where like Wayne's World and Bill Nye the Science Guy and LeVar Burton from Reading Rainbow got together and made a theater show. Yeah. So, you know, we're not, you know, Access Hollywood or something. But in that case, Rebecca and I were both fans and really hoped to grab John to do it. And we loved the show so much. We were huge fans of it. And he happened to be game. I mean, I don't know, Rebecca, do you have any other juice on how you actually?
Yeah, no, I mean, sometimes we think that someone is going to be a really hard get and we're like, they'll never do it. And then they are like, John was literally like, I like Broadway and I like sandwiches. So yeah, I'm in. Like, yeah. It's that easy.
He was such a good sport. He's
a lot of times the scheduling is hard. Our show is a tough show to do. We hit 3 locations in every episode. Like that takes time, you know? So
yeah.
Someone has to be willing to like give us that time, and these are really, really busy people. So it is tricky, but you know, the show ultimately is a really fun time for them. And it's, you know, it's so different than any other interviews that they do that are like a 3-minute sit down in some chairs and chat. Like, this is a 13.5-minute, really deep dive into this person. And it gets them seen in a way that is so different from other interviews. So it's really fun. And we also try to mix it up. Like, we really love having a mix throughout the season of people who are in the ensemble and people who are principal cast members and people who have done like swing roles and understudies. And so we really can get the full picture of the different ways to be on Broadway.
Yeah. I think the human element was kind of what you created from the very beginning when, Rebecca, you were friends with Garen during his time in the show, saying, wow, Garen, you're just out there living life and now you're going to your show. And I think that's probably what you're recreating now, where you're just showing these people as humans.
It's crazy to know that like these people take the subway, you know, like even something like that seems nuts. But like after you're like, you guys are doing these like superhuman magical feats of being on Broadway. And then like you could be sitting on the one train next to me. Like that seems crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
And that they're like curling up in a ball under their dressing room table to take a nap between shows, or their kid is doing that because they had to pick them up from school because they were sick and they're whatever. Like everybody's just living their life, and I think it makes it really special because these really are portraits of people at a moment in time in their life, and they'll always have those episodes to look back on and say, wow. Because also, you know, it is just a job, like Rebecca's saying in many ways, but it's so much more. It's so spiritual to people. It's their, you know, people who are performers, it is their craft, it is their artistry, it's their outlet. And so really a way of life. And it can go by like that because it is so temporal. And you have to be at a certain level of technique and ability to be able to do it. And so for us to be able to capture that lightning in a bottle for them and share it with, you know, the world, but also for them to be able to look back on later is really poignant.
It's also been nice. Like this was one of the conversations that we had, that Garen and I had, that kind of started the whole thing. And it's something that comes up a lot when we're filming because I am a fan of these people. I am genuinely like so amazed by them. And, you know, this idea that like, yes, it's a job and it's such hard work and everything, but then you kind of have to like step out of it. And I find that people doing our show kind of get this reminder that like, oh yeah, you are living the dream. Like, there are so few people in life who get to do the thing that as a little kid, you said, oh, when I grow up, I want to be a ballerina. I want to be a Broadway star. Like not a lot of people get to do that. And so when you're in it, what I've learned is that when you're in it, like you can kind of lose sight of that. And that little reminder of being on our show and being like, no, you're a star. This is amazing. What you do is incredible. It's fun to see people remember that.
Yeah. Garen, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, it is fun to help them zoom out on their life and look at it through a different lens and share that with people. For me, it's really special because I've always just been curious about my colleagues. If I was in a dance studio and taking a dance class, I'm looking around the room like that person has something really special and beautiful, and I want to try that move. And wow, you know, you could be really great. Have you tried this? You know, to fix this move, or like technically get this double tour, this pirouette, whatever. And so for me, it's really nice to just kind of hold them up and hype them up because I've always sort of just been the hype guy in the room. I was a great dancer, but I was never the best. I was always really good, but I was never the best. And so, but I would find the best person in the room immediately. So this just gives me a chance to like see people for who they are and what they have to offer and raise them up.
With you being in California,
as someone who is one of the worst dancers in the class, I will say Garen's great at hyping you up. Even me, like Garen would tell everyone, no one demi-plies better than this one.
There you go.
Very deep Achilles tendon. Now that we're on an athletic show, extremely deep, like freakishly deep. Actually,
that would be extremely beneficial then. Yes.
Yes.
Garen, what's it like being on the interviewer side of the mic and being in California and away from the Broadway scene? Do you ever have the FOMO? Do you ever miss like going to the stage door as well and, you know, heading in for your show? What's that like on your end?
Yeah, I do miss it. I feel like I'll always be a dancer. I mean, I'm really, God, I'm a dancer dances, right? Like I'm gonna dance till the day I die. But I do so much, my day-to-day life now is more as a producer and a manager and artistic director of Dance Film SF, the San Francisco Dance Film Festival. So I'm more on the other side of it now than I am on the performance side. So being able to host this show is fun for me because I get to kind of jump back in front of the camera, but really do what I'm doing every day, which is helping people kind of achieve their dreams and present stories that are compelling and inspire and uplift people. So for me, it feels like a really good fit. I'm so blessed to be able to do this 7 years after we started the project, through a pandemic. We've made it farther than we thought we ever would have, and that's
Can you zoom in? Can you zoom in on that? What was there like a lull or a dead time of where you had to skip some seasons and then like make a comeback? Tell us about that, and then the comeback. And yeah, Rebecca, how was that?
So we did the first 2 seasons, and then the pandemic hit. And so 2020, obviously nothing was happening. And then even 2021 wasn't really working. Like the restrictions were so tough. We couldn't do it. We came back in 2022. We did a season. We everyone had to be COVID tested. We had 2 episodes, our 6th episode and our MJ episode, where we were not allowed backstage at the theater and did dressing room tours on Zoom, on FaceTime calls, which actually ended up being really cute, but was, a new challenge. And then, honestly, the theater industry has changed so much. Like, shows are planned limited runs now so much, and shows are opening and closing so quickly. And we weren't sure how that was going to affect our show because, as you mentioned, and thank you so much for saying it, our show is really high quality. Like, it is not something that is just slapped together. It is not something that's just shot on iPhones. Like, it is a big production, and it takes a long time to edit the episodes and all of that. So we were in a place where, like, for us to be able to shoot episodes and have the shows still be open was really tough. We had kind of done all the long running shows already. So we just weren't really sure if we were still going to do it. And then 2024 rolled around and they were like, hey, we want more. And we were like, okay, let's do it.
And and Joe, we are a public media show, so we have a responsibility to audiences. It's news, so when our shows air, the public has to have the opportunity to be able to engage with whatever the live thing is that we're reporting on. And so that is why it was so tough for us to be able to shoot a show, be able to go all the way through post-production and figure out the rollout and have those shows stay open. Of course, Phantom of the Opera and Aladdin and Hamilton, there's no issue there. And we've covered all those shows. That was the other thing. We covered all the long running shows, Book of Mormon, Lion King, Wicked, everything. And so we're looking more for those newer shows that we can highlight and we want to lift up, but it was really tough, especially in that 2020 to 2023 period.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned like the high production quality, which I did say, because it's so true. How many are there of you? How many people, come into the circle to make an episode happen?
We have the 2 of us. We have our director, Brandon Delaney. We have
Erica Munoz, producer.
Erica Munoz, who's our producer. And then we've got for
2 cameras,
2 cameras, audio. And then we have like PAs who are like running ahead to the next location to set up before we get there so that it's not a big wait. So it's pretty
and
big.
We usually have a publicist with us. So usually about 10. Our crew's 10. Yeah. And that's a lot to fit backstage.
Because you 2 mentioned, when you do these episodes, you like to remind people that, hey, you made it or whatever. I just want to take that time to give you applause because you all started having lunch in between shows together and had this chat. And bit and scratched and clawed for a pilot, and now here you are, 10 people deep putting these on.
Yeah,
Oh, thanks, Joe. We did
That's
that.
cool.
We ate that, Rebecca.
No, yeah, and
The kids said.
I sincerely mean it, because I can relate in ways of like, hey, you it wasn't always like this. It wasn't always like this.
No.
So kudos to y'all. When you're not involved with the Broadway Sandwich, what does life look like outside of the show?
I love how you say the Broadway Sandwich, because it sounds so much more
Sorry.
epic. No, maybe we should switch the name. The Broadway Sandwich. It's like
I
like it,
don't
Joe.
know, sorry.
No, you're good. Well, let's see. So when I'm not doing Broadway Sandwich, I am running the production company that I founded. It's called Pilot MGMT, named after my dog, Pilot. And we work with mostly dance-centered clients and projects across the entertainment landscape, from Broadway performers, choreographers, composers, directors, across TV and film and opera and concert dance, and producing other film and TV projects. I just had a film called Waiting Places that is on Past, Present, Future, also on All Arts, available now. It just came out last month. It's called Waiting Places by Bobby Jean Smith and Laura Schreiber. I produced it. It's gorgeous. Proud of it. Please go watch it. It's free across the country. I have another feature film in development and production right now. Should air in November. And then I run this dance film festival. So it's a mix of, nonprofit arts management and then also management production across the entertainment industry.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. Rebecca, I know you're doing more than being at the snack table with your parents and the Rice Krispie.
Right now,
tell us more.
I'm looking for my next move, honestly. TV is in a tough spot right now. TV is a really precarious industry right now with, unfortunately a lot of layoffs, and it's a tough biz. So I am looking for my next gig. So yeah, if anyone needs a producer.
Okay, amazing. Everyone heard. I don't know if this is the episode to do it. Maybe I bring both of you back on, but I think as common and obviously as stapled of a position as a quote unquote producer is, I think there's a mystery to it to so many people that are even in the industry or outside of the industry. I think some people think a producer is someone with millions of money and they just throw money and they're like, I'm producing this. Or I don't know.
In this world.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe just to maybe we do like a sneak peek at a follow-up episode, like I can
give you in one line. A producer just can I curse? A producer just gets shit done.
Right.
That's kind of what it is.
Yeah, and Joe, you're right.
We write everything. We map out the stories. We're creative storytellers who get shit done.
And I'm sure there's specific position players, I'll call them, as producers, because oftentimes like a Broadway show, you'll have maybe upwards of 5 to 10 to how many producers. And I know that they're all focused on different lanes to make the show happen.
In Broadway in particular, you'll have the lead producers who are listed at the top of the masthead. Those are the producers that are doing the thing that Rebecca just said, the get shit done. Also sometimes putting their own money in, but they're the ones who are at the center of every decision about producing that show. Those top producers, those Roy and Jill Furman, those Sonia Friedmans out there in the world, they are running the show. The producers that you see mentioned towards the end of the bios, those are more co-producers who are more investors in the production generally. And then in TV, there's a whole different rundown of the difference between executive producers and producers. It's actually flipped. TV executive producers are top of the line and producers are below. And in film, it's the other way around. Producers are the boss and executive producers are below, often, who are mostly putting in the money or providing access to the network or whatever.
Well, Rebecca, if you're looking for your next thing, I personally think instead of behind the scenes of I just watched the Stranger Things documentary of making the West End production, instead of the actors, or maybe they showed a lot about the writer, I think maybe a behind the scenes for producers of how much it really takes to get this thing off the ground and all the puzzle pieces you have to put together.
That'd be awesome.
Joe, what are you naming it? What's the name of this show?
Well, it's got to start with the
for sure.
Do it.
Obviously.
So I don't know. I wish I was witty enough, but I'm it's actually 11:40 here. I'm over in Europe right now.
Oh
So
my
it's,
gosh.
it's a
Wow,
little,
it's late.
it's a little bit late for me. So that's
Well, we
what,
could
that's
do
why I'm making
the producer's sandwich for now as a working title, and then you
Yeah,
can shift
yeah.
it later when you wake up and have coffee.
Yeah. I won't commit to anything just yet.
Okay,
So
I hear you.
we'll do it on the
Fair enough.
follow-up. Thank you
Great.
so much for being on Built for the Stage podcast. I can't wait to binge watch the previous seasons and the episodes to come out. Everyone that's listening or watching, it's just Broadway Sandwich on the gram, and you can find Garen and Rebecca. Do you have and Rebecca's handle on there? Good. Everyone's handles on the bio in there, so you can follow all 3 accounts and see what's next for Broadway Sandwich. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. This was so fun.
All right, Garen and Rebecca, they're good people. I want to have the Broadway Sandwich, maybe a ham and cheese or maybe a BLT. I don't know, in between shows. What shows? I'm going to bring him back on. What shows are we going to see? What show should I see in between? Garen's on mute. He was in mid-drink. I just
Good thing
brought
I
him
was
back on.
decent. Jeez.
Yeah, your shirt might have been on. Who knows?
Give a girl a warning.
What's the latest show you've seen on Broadway? What's the latest one?
Well, we both just saw Smash.
We did.
There you go, Smash. I'm
Yeah.
seeing that this coming weekend. Can't
It's
wait.
fun. It's a
Definitely
good
go see
time.
Smash. It was great. It was really, really fun. Brilliant performances. And then I also saw Stranger Things. Speaking of the Stranger Things documentary, and also Sonia Friedman, producer, the Stranger Things on Broadway. It was I couldn't believe what I was watching. The technical capability, like unreal designs. Like wow.
Yes, I saw it on the West End. Haven't seen it on Broadway yet, but yeah, crazy. And I'm not like crazy fan of the show, but it's so cool to sit amongst those types of people and then just like they're just eating it up, loving it every moment. So
also shout out, guys, you gotta go see Real Women Have Curves. Like make the show stay open. I have my ticket rehearsal. You walk out so filled with joy and love. Like it is just such a joyous show. Like I loved it. I really did. And I walked out singing the songs, and that's what I want from a musical.
Also, can't wait to see Buena Vista Social Club.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to see Real Women Have Curves. I have my tickets, but I did already see Buena Vista Social Club. And like, first off, just go to see the band and you're like done. Like, hello. Okay. But then the talent of the cast, the vocals, the dancing, you'll even be impressed. Like some of the actors that are just singers throughout the whole thing, they let them dance for the last number in the finale, and all of a sudden their dancing is also high quality. So I'm just like, the cast is chef's kiss for sure. So, all right, I had to bring you back on for another curtain call. Sorry about that. Okay, Garen and Rebecca from Broadway Sandwich. This is Joe Roscoe from Built for the Stage. Actors are athletes. Train like one.